The sugar in your coffee began as a grass taller than a man. It was crushed, boiled, and spun until it turned to dust. This is how sugar is made. And one interesting fact near the end still sounds impossible. A single question will pull us the whole way. How does a wet green stalk become a dry white crystal? Picture a field of green stalks swaying like bamboo. That is sugarcane. And it is not a tree, it is a grass, the same family as your lawn. Some stalks grow to 3 times your height. Inside each one hides a sweet, sticky secret. Getting it out is where things turn strange. Here is something few people ever hear. Sugarcane is the most harvested crop on the entire planet. By weight, we grow more of it than wheat or rice. Fields of it stretch across the tropics, like green oceans of grass. More than 1/3 of the world's supply comes from a single country. The scale is almost impossible to picture, and the harvest often begins with fire. Before cutting, many fields are set ablaze. Flames roar across the crop after dark, yet the cane survives almost untouched. The fire only burns off the sharp leaves and drives out snakes. The thick stalks hold too much water to catch. Workers then cut through a blackened, smoking field. The sweetness is still locked safely inside. Once a stalk is cut, a hidden clock starts ticking. The sugar inside begins to fade within hours. Cut cane must reach the mill fast, often within a day. Wait too long and the sweetness quietly rots away. So the mills never sleep during harvest season. It becomes a constant race against time. I keep wondering where you are hearing this right now. Maybe a kitchen in Brazil. Maybe a flat in Poland. Maybe a small town in India. Sugarcane quietly reaches all of them. Tell me which country you are watching from. I'm genuinely curious how far this story travels. Now, follow the stalks into the crushers. The crushers are giant grooved rollers, heavier than a car. They squeeze the stalks with brutal force. Green juice gushes out like water from a wrung towel. What is left behind is pale, dry fiber. Nothing here is thrown away. That crushed fiber has a second life you would never guess. The dry fiber is fed straight into a furnace. It burns hot enough to boil all the factory's water. The mill runs almost entirely on its own leftovers. Some even sell spare electricity back to the grid. The waste becomes the fuel. But the juice still looks nothing like sugar. The raw juice is murky, gray, and full of grit. To clean it, the mill stirs in lime, the same mineral used in cement. It grabs the dirt and drags it to the bottom. The liquid above turns clear and golden, from gray sludge to liquid gold in minutes, and it is about to change form again. Now think about how much cane this really takes. A whole stalk surrenders only a little sugar. It takes roughly 10 tons of cane for 1 ton of sugar. Trucks haul small mountains of it in every day. What you scoop into 1 cup swallowed an armful of field. The plant gives up its sweetness slowly. Cutting the cane does not kill the field. The stalks are gone, but the roots stay alive. Fresh shoots push up from those same roots again. A single planting can be harvested for years. The field quietly refills itself. Few crops are this stubbornly generous. Long before any factory hummed, people chewed this grass raw. On tropical islands, they snapped the stalks and sucked out the juice. For a very long time, that was the only way to taste it. No crystals, no bags, no bowls. Just a mouthful of sweet green stalk. Turning that juice solid took thousands of years. When solid crystals finally arrived, sugar became treasure. It was so rare that people called it white gold. Locked in cabinets, weighed by the pinch, guarded like jewels. Rulers showed off bowls of it to prove their wealth. The dust on your table was once a symbol of power. Today it costs almost nothing. That crash in price hides an incredible machine. Raw sugar can pile up like golden sand dunes. Bulldozers push it into small mountains inside vast warehouses. Ships then carry it across oceans by the ton. It can look more like building material than food. Whole harbors exist just to move it. The sweetness travels farther than you ever think. The clear juice is boiled down into thick syrup, but open flames would scorch it dark brown. So the syrup boils inside sealed vacuum tanks. Under vacuum, it bubbles gently far below normal boiling heat. That quiet trick is what keeps sugar pale. Here is a small debate I keep having with friends. Which is harder to pull off, boiling sugar without burning it or spinning it bone dry? One word, boiling or spinning. Write it below. Because the spinning is coming very soon. Now the strangest step of all begins. Workers drop a pinch of powdered sugar into the syrup. Each tiny grain becomes a seed. Sugar molecules cling to it and start to grow. Crystals bloom in the liquid like frost on cold glass. They are grown to an exact size on purpose. The factory is farming crystals inside a tank. The thick, crystal-filled mush is poured into spinning drums. They whirl like the fastest ride at a fair. The force flings the syrup out through tiny holes in the walls. Dry crystals stay pinned against the sides. In seconds, wet sludge becomes sparkling sugar. The dark liquid flung off carries a famous name. The syrup is not spun only once. What drips off gets boiled and spun again. Mills chase every last crystal through several rounds. Each pass squeezes a little more sugar from the dark liquid. Only when nothing sweet remains do they stop. The factory refuses to waste a single grain. That dark leftover syrup is molasses. It is no failure. It flavors rum, cakes, and rich sauces. The same spin that dries your sugar creates it. One machine, two products, and nothing lost. Yet this fresh sugar is still faintly brown. The whitest secret is still ahead. The final white sugar is almost pure chemistry. It is over 99% a single compound. Very few foods in your home are this refined. That plain grain is nearly perfect sucrose. Simple on the tongue, complex to make. That perfect crystal still hides one last trick. Here is a contradiction that fools almost everyone. Sugar from tall cane and sugar from a pale root taste identical. Chemically, they are the very same crystal. Your tongue cannot tell them apart at all. Two unrelated plants, one perfect copy. Yet the whitest sugar hides a darker secret. Now the fact that stops people cold. To turn some cane sugar snow white, refineries filter it through charred animal bone. The golden syrup trickles down through a bed of black bone char. It strips away the final color and leaves the sugar pure white. Millions sweeten their coffee this way and never know. The most innocent thing in your kitchen hides a strange past. Once bagged, that sugar scatters into almost everything. Bread, sauces, medicine, even foods you would call salty. It hides in places you would never call sweet. From a single grass, 1,000 products flow. It quietly built entire economies and trade routes. Few crops have shaped the world so deeply. Step back and picture the whole journey once more. A towering grass, set on fire, crushed and boiled in a vacuum. Seeded like a garden, spun like a carnival ride, filtered through bone. All of that is folded into a single spoonful. The cheapest sweet on earth is quietly one of the most engineered things you own. I still cannot get my head around one part of this. That a giant grass and a humble root end up as the exact same crystal. Of everything here, which fact caught you most off guard? The burning fields, the bone filter, or the spinning drums? I would love to know which one you are still thinking about tomorrow.